Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you with the Marvel Legends Retro Collection Peter Parker figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey I'm fucking with. Hype beast we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
6 figures in a wave, no Build-A-Figure part with each figure. However, what could be considered the Build-A-Figure will be sold separately in November. And a quick look at the front of the package. Very cool retro packaging. This is based on the old 90s Toy Biz Spider-Man line that was based on the Spider-Man the Animated Series cartoon on Fox. Alright, here we go. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. His bio on the back of the package reads, Peter Parker is the college student and photojournalist who is secretly the amazing Spider-Man. What a joyous occasion, our very first Peter Parker in the Marvel Legends line. Before now, we had to kit bash and do our own kind of makeshift Peter Parker in street clothes. We've been asking for the mild-mannered alter egos of our superheroes for Marvel Legends since the Toy Biz days. And hopefully this will open the floodgates and this will be one of many and we will see almost all of our favorite heroes in plain clothes. I'm really excited about the possibilities for this. But for some reason I see Bruce Banner here. Maybe that's just an indication of things to come. We'll see. This man been in college for like 45 years, but it's all good. This is the dude that we can all root for. He's the mild-mannered, wisecracking, smart ass that apparently can't dress but somehow he still ended up marrying a supermodel and has been linked to some of the baddest chicks in the Marvel Universe. Matter of fact, during the Spider-Man the Animated Series show, we saw Black Cat like seducing Spider-Man. And every episode she was in, she was like kissing on him and all types of stuff. I actually do like the deco that they picked here. He's on his official white boy swag. He's got the members only brown jacket with the polo shirt and the blue chinos with the sneakers. You know, it's swaggy. It's nerdy swaggy, but it's swaggy. And I don't really see too many paint imperfections on my version. I think he looks very good. I actually like this a lot. I'm wondering if this is the same sort of buck or setup that they have for the Stan Lee figure. I actually just got that figure in. Didn't even open it yet. I'm gonna have to do some comparisons with Stan by the end of this. Straight out of the package, he comes with one of his accessories already attached. Well, at least what I believe is one of his accessories. It looks like the glasses can be removed, but it doesn't look like it's an easy task, unfortunately. I do see that his eyes are underneath there, so it's not like they skipped out on painting his eyes or anything like that. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get these off without damaging anything. And although the glasses do look a little goofy, I like it. I think it's pretty accurate, and it kind of brings the whole nerdy swag together here. The whole getup is kind of working in tandem with the glasses, I think. And you know what? It's not easy to pull these off. I'm not sure if they actually meant to be pulled off. I think I might just actually swap the head off. I'm not going to mess with that for right now. I don't want to bend the arm to the glasses. And you can see that it's kind of stuck to the side of his head. They're not even like fixed over his ear. So I don't like that. That is not as authentic as it could be. But it is what it is. He has 2 open hands that are cupped, and I don't think this is a sculpt that I've seen before. Looks like the wrist movement on this one is like up and down, and this one may be the traditional hinge, yes. But you can actually pop the hands out. So any other hands you have around that might fit, you can pop them in. Is Petey gonna have to smack a I actually think this is Namor's hand. That looks a little big. I mean, the hands that were on him out of the package look a little big too. And this might be a Wonder Man hand. That works too. That's the thwipping hand that comes with the retro Spider-Man from the same wave. Looks like he's fixing his web shooter or something. And then he's also packed in with a camera, which is great. Nice old school camera. That's the great thing about displaying. You know, you can do any era. 70s, 80s, 90s. Everything doesn't have to be modern and up to date. As long as they keep giving us the characters with different deco, you can do whatever era you want. And so I'm glad they gave us the old school camera. And obviously they gave him the cupped hands for a reason, so he can hold the camera. And that looks cool. See if I could get it up to his face too. But I mean, what does Spider-Man do? He takes pictures of superheroes fighting, taking action shots, and getting all of these great pictures of himself, of Spider-Man. That's what we do. That's what A.C.B.A is about. That's why Spider-Man is the man. That's going to take some work to get the camera right up to the front of his face, but this works. It looks authentic. It looks pretty good, and he has no issue holding the camera. I like the way this looks. I like the option. My wheels are turning. I'm thinking about displays I want to do already. I'm still playing with different hands, but obviously you got a lot of options. So aside from the head sculpt with the glasses, you do get an additional head sculpt. Let's swap that on and see what that looks like. He's got a head sculpt that represents his spider sense going off, and this captures that very nicely. I think this was a really nice touch. Only other thing they could have included was the little kind of tingly spider sense effect maybe that you could have attached to the back of his head. But there's a lot of customizers out there over the years that have done that effect, so I mean, I'm sure you could pick it up from one of them. But it looks really cool the way his eyebrow is raised, and he definitely looks surprised on the half with his face exposed, and this was a nice touch. I like that they did this. And you can play around with this in so many different ways. I swapped the hands again. I think these are some of the old Iron Fist hands, but so many options, a lot of playability. I like that. And if you wanted to play around with either of the masked heads from the retro Spider-Man, you could, like he's taking off his mask or putting it on. And going over his articulation real quick. So you know the head is on a ball joint. It's kind of weird the way the head shifts on this neck, so you got to be careful. And you're going to have to shift it forward or back for it to make it look right. But you know, you get pivot, turn left to right, do a full 360. The only issue is making it look authentic on that neck joint, because it's acting like one of the female heads on the neck pegs where they kind of shift, and I don't like that. But shoulders on a ball joint, they're going to come up that far. You can do a full 360. There is an upper bicep swivel. You do get a double jointed elbow, a swivel, and a hinge on the wrist. You saw me hinge the wrist already. This one goes up and down. That one goes left and right, unless you swap out the hands for some other hands. He does have a decent ab crunch going forward and back. Not hindered too much by the jacket. This jacket is a separate part. You could take this off, but obviously you would still have the sleeved arms. He has rotation at the waist. T-joint at the pelvis. Legs are going to come up that far. I wonder if he's got to drop down. No. Alright, so legs will come up that far. Split will look like that. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. You get a hinge on the foot. You get an ankle pivot. And not as agile as him when he's in his Spider-Man costume, but decent articulation, pretty standard for one of the males from Marvel Legends. You know, I never picked up the Defenders box set. And I know that the Danny Rand in that set had on sneakers. Somebody let me know. Are these the same sneakers from Danny Rand? Alright, let's do some size comparisons. On the far left is a blast from the past. This is just a reminder that we need a new updated female S.H.I.E.L.D. agent body. And that is the Maria Hill from the Maria Hill and Iron Man 2-pack. Or you could have just made a generic female S.H.I.E.L.D. soldier, I guess. But the Maria Hill head was highly sought after. I think I still got a couple on ice somewhere. Well, just the heads, but not the package. But then there is Venom from the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure wave, and then you can see Mary Jane from the Mary Jane and that sort of modern Spider-Man 2-pack, and you can see how she matches up next to Peter. I like that. I like the way they look together. And then I have the Ross body. It's the one that came with Ross from the Killmonger and Ross 2-pack, but I have the J. Jonah Jameson head on there. And then on the right, I believe that's the original Carnage, so that would be the one from the Ultimate Green Goblin. Yes, yeah, Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure wave. And yeah, I'm liking the way all of this looks. Hopefully you're viewing this in order, so that means you already saw my review of Spider-Man here from the same wave. I won't jump ahead. I won't show size comparisons of any of the figures that I haven't already reviewed, so I'm going to keep it to things that have already been open. I think I needed to do it in this order because I really want to see how Peter Parker and Spider-Man match up, and I think that looks good. And if I remember correctly, Silver Sable is from the Kingpin Build-A-Figure wave, I think. And then the Kingpin Build-A-Figure over there, and we know that later in November we'll get the Spider-Man the Animated Series inspired Kingpin. That's how all of those stack up. I didn't get Silver Sable as a comparison in the last review, so there's Spider-Man next to Silver Sable. Yeah, I don't think those glasses are meant to be removed, but let's do some swaps. So here's the regular Peter Parker head, and that looks great. No issues. It pops right onto the peg, so you retain all the articulation. He's got the little smirk. I think that looks good. Then there's the Battle Damage Peter Parker head, and that also looks good. And then you just got a bunch of different options for whoever you want and some casual gear. This is the Tony Stark head that came with the all new, all different Iron Man. Skin tones don't quite match up, but you can make it work. And that looks good for a casual Tony. I think this was supposed to be Matt Murdock, the Daredevil extra head from one of these Daredevils. I don't even know which one this is from. I'm just pulling these out of a box with a bunch of different heads, a little storage container that has a bunch of different compartments with heads. Skin tones don't really match up. That's not the best. The head pops on there, but it's very tight on the peg. How about Nick Fury in street clothes? That I like. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. The way the head kind of sits on the neck is not ideal, so you may only want to shoot them from the front or from the side with the head turned or something like that, but you can definitely make it work. Deadpool, that could work. I mean, if you do some light customization to make the rest of his exposed body parts look like the face, I wouldn't do it, but hey. Or you could put Deadpool in something else and just put Bob in plain clothes. That works. How about Forge? Pops on there. It's a little loose, but it works. Outfit looks like something Forge may rock during downtime. Cyclops. You know I had to try this one. I'm a little disappointed. The head sits kind of high on the neck. You can finesse it, but you can see that the head is kind of high. If it sat just a little bit lower on the peg, this would be all good. Here's the more modern Cyclops head that came with that same figure with the previous head that I just showed. And Wolverine, both of them in kind of street clothes. And then I just threw Spider-Man in there. Alright, I think I'm about to get up out of here. I think I'll let some of these other swaps and comparisons bleed over into the next review. Like I said, hopefully you've been following along in order. Spider-Man was first. Peter Parker was next. I think I'll do Gwen Stacy third. I did get a chance to peek at the Stan Lee figure again, so it does seem to be the same buck, just a different deco for Stan. I think I'll take a look at him separately though. I won't mix him in with these reviews. So Peter Parker here came out real nice. I like this figure a lot. I like all of the options. I think I want to get a couple of more of these bodies so I can do some of these little swaps and kit bashes that I showed. I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that I didn't even think of yet that I'll probably think of in my sleep and remember and say, damn, I should have did that. But again, I'll let it bleed over into the next review. So this is one I would definitely recommend. No way you're going to pass up on a Peter Parker figure. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell down there. And until next time, peace.
That's crispy.